I'm fine, thank you. Niko poa.
Karibu.
Asante.
Yeah, so we started almost immediately. So, how was your day?
My day was good. I think today I had guests, a spillover of yesterday, and the kids. So my day was pretty much very fast, imekimbia, but I thank God this far.
So, I think what I want to do is we get started with the conversation. Anybody who joins in will join and listen in, and of course, those who are not able to join in will find us on YouTube later.
No problem.
Yeah, so let me just pray briefly so that we get started. We thank you, Sovereign Lord, for this evening and the discussion we're about to have on investing in real estate here on Unleash Hour. I pray that we will receive great insights and learn a lot in the next few minutes. And I trust you that you will lead, guide, and direct our steps and this discussion to be of great help and benefit to many people. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Amen. Wow, so really nice to have you here. You have the privilege to be the very first person I'm interviewing on Unleash Hour.
Awesome. Thank you. I'm humbled.
Yeah, because I think since we started, I've been the one who's been doing a lot of the sessions by myself with other people just joining in as participants. But now the time has come for me to start engaging other people, and I believe that it's gonna be a good thing. So today's session is focused on the aspect of personal finance, and because of that, the discussion that we want to have is going to be centered for today around investing in real estate, because investment is one of the biggest things that we need to have a look at whenever we are talking about personal finance, because investment is a big, huge part of the conversation on personal finance. So probably before we go far much deeper into the conversation, what I would want you to do is probably to introduce yourself, tell us a bit more about yourself and the company that you work for. So the floor is yours.
Okay, my name is Christine Kasaya, Customer Service Personnel, Optiven Limited. Optiven Limited is the leading real estate firm in the country, and I say globally. What I'd want to say about introductions and anything that goes out there is that one, you have to believe in yourself and you have to believe in your brand. So for me, I am Christine, I'm saved. Christ is my personal savior. And Optiven is a brand that I believe in, took me fresh from college and made me fall in love with the real estate. So I do everything real estate. And today I have the privilege of just talking about something small about real estate. And yes, generally, I'll say in a snapshot, that is Christine. Yes, most of the people call me Kasaya. If you went to my place home, wananitanga Wakanyi. So you'd choose which one is easier for you, Christine or Kasaya, but those two ndio za his own sana sana. Yes, thank you.
Okay, thank you so much for that wonderful introduction. Now I think it's time for us to delve into the real discussion. So, one of the things that we probably would make an assumption about would be that people understand what real estate is. But in your own words, if somebody approached you and on the street and asked you what is real estate, or when we talk about real estate, what are we really referring to? What would you say?
Now, when we speak about real estate, I would say real estate is wide, but I would start with the origin of real estate. Just the word real estate comes from a word that is speculated to be Latin. Just a change of syllable will determines how far you go with the word real estate. The first word is, they speculate that it came from a Latin word res, RES, which mainly describes things. So when we speak about real estate, we speak about things that you can see. And in the current time, we speak about places, we speak about ownership. And the other word is rex, REX. Now, the difference of the change of that one letter brings the difference, but also in giving it the deeper meaning of the meaning real estate, real, especially the real, is that Rex means royalty. And in those days, the days of the Roman Empire and what have you, only the kings used to own land. Or if you are a landlord, you were of royalty or just that royal blood. So there were the royalty and the commoners. So when you speak about ownership, it was more in terms of matters when it comes to royalty and things. So when you speak, when now later that generation, the Roman Empire is fading, and most of the time we moved now to the generation we can understand, that is the English times. And the English times, the word estate comes in. Remember, now there's real and then estate. And still when you come to the English Empire, there's still royalty and the commoners and everything. But now there are estates in which govern how the land is going to be used. Yes, there are some royal people, but also there are prominent people. And there are people who just are in a place where they were placed. Now you now get the essence of communal land, royal land, public land, things like those. When you speak about real estate, I would say generally that is the origin of real estate. Now, when you're speaking about real estate as it is, real estate is divided into 4 major sectors. So anywhere you go in the world, before you now add industry now defines where I am. But when you speak about real estate, there are 4 areas you need to look at. The first one is residential real estate. Residential real estate is just the real estate of building homes. Mostly residential focuses on homes. Homes that I can settle, I can rent. That is from a villa to a mansionette to a bungalow to apartments. So within the residential, you can always split commercial residential and just small scale residential. Now that becomes part of where a lot of people want to be. They just want to buy land to be settled. Then, but now before they move to land, there's a place they want to be. The second one is commercial. Commercial will go into warehousing, land that we build malls, we build train station, we build skyscrapers. Now, initially, if you now watch like the history of Kenya, initially Upper Hill was a residential area. Then in due time, Nairobi grew, and Upper Hill has changed from a residential area to a commercial zone. That means even if I put a building, I have to consider, I can factor in some little bit of residence, but the biggest thing I'd want to ensure is that it covers 90% commercial purposes. Then after that, we have industrial, commercial is hotel, offices, apartments, mainly for sale. But when you're speaking about apartments, when it comes to commercial, I'm not doing the small scale apartments that I will just lease and rent. No, that becomes more of residential. I'm speaking about apartments that I will put my hand and add money, and then at the end of the day sell and realize my profits. So apartments, you can always ask. If it is residential, it's more of now renting where we are. Like where I live, I'm in an apartment, but landlord ako tu hapo karibu na mimi. So hii ni residential. Anataka at the end of the day, I collect rent. Now, when you speak about commercial apartments, is I can come together with Kachenge, with Becky, with Esther. We put all our resources. We buy prime land, we build apartments, and we say, we shall sell these apartments for someone to do some residential raising of money. But our main input is that we've put 10 million. We want maybe 50 million. We get our capital. We look how we venture out there. We just want to make money when it comes to commercial apartments, things like those. There's industrial. Industrial comes with production. It comes with storage. It comes with zoning, just knowing that this area, and now you'll realize as you start buying land, utakuwa unaambiwa hii land ni labda agricultural, hii ni industrial, hii ni residential, hivyo. So there's that zoning that when you speak, the best way to bring it home in Kenya, we speak about industrial area.
Yeah.
You can't buy land in industrial area to do more residential. What you'll get in industrial area is a warehouse and maybe a small slum, because in that small slum, a lot of people get their resources, their work in the industries within.
Yeah.
And that is common everywhere, even with industrialization years ago, that anywhere there were industries, there were suburban settlements. So the only residential you are likely to find in such a place is that. But I don't mean to write it off, but that is what it is. If you moved everywhere and you looked anywhere there are a lot of industries,
Yes.
you'll not get really great formal settlement. No, you'll get informal, because anytime they can also be destroyed to expand industries and things like those. Then the last, and what I would call my first, is what we call land. Land is now just vacant land that will always be there, but it can never be duplicated. Now, that is where we are as Kenya as a nation. Kenya as a nation, the number one real estate term that people understand when it comes to real estate is land. But land is just among the four that defines real estate. Now, after we've defined maybe real estate, we go to something now we call the real estate industry. The real estate industry now has 6 major divisions. The first one is development, and that is where I come in. Development mainly focuses on land. That means before you can either do anything, if you are given empty land, you'll have to think, on this land, what can I be able to do with it? Can I put up residential real estate? Can I be able to put commercial real estate? Can I zone it for this particular area? I can always say, will this be agricultural land? Will this be residential land? What do I need to do with land? But now our understanding as Kenyans, or majority of where we start, is when we hear real estate, we think about land, we think about putting a home, and we just think about settlement. Now that comes to an industry that is called, that is a development kind of an industry when it comes to real estate. For me, where I work, Optiven, we are pesetters in real estate developments. That means we buy land in big chunks, subdivide them. Some are some are just marked and sold as they are. Some are added value, so that when you purchase, you are just able to settle, or you are able to do anything you'd wish with your land within the stipulated time. So I would put our conversation at that point first.
Wow, that is quite a mouthful. I want to believe that the guys who are tuning in are capturing and getting to understand what it is we're talking about. So, I would like to request whoever is coming in, please mute their kindly mute their audio so that we're able to communicate.
I think, Sam, since you are the host, you are able to mute.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to do that. Sorry for that, guys. Allow me to mute you all for now. I'll give you time to ask questions when it's time, or just to be a part of the conversation. So, as I was saying, thank you so much for bringing that out very clearly. So, the next thing that I would like us to do right now is my next question will actually be towards why should people think of investing in real estate? What are some of the unique benefits of investing in this particular sector? And while you're answering that question, think about what other competing investments are there, and why should someone think real estate vis-a-vis these other opportunities, or why should someone ensure that real estate is part of their portfolio?
Now, this is what I'd say. When it comes to investing in real estate, it gives you an opportunity to own something that you'll always see. It may never give you the benefits you'd want initially, especially if you are investing for speculation purposes. But real estate is one area that you are sure that you will always get your returns. Now, initially, when you're speaking about the definition of real estate, we gave the two Latin pickups, that is res and ex, and rex. And from the two, you get just a slight change in anything in real estate means that someone's life can change to a great deal. Real estate is an investment of trust. An investment of trust and intelligence. That means by the time you decide that I have to invest in real estate, you have done your due diligence, you have picked your other options, and you've decided this is what I want in the long run.
Yeah. Hello. Hello.
Where I'll be going through losses. Another place you'd always ask yourself, where do I need to invest myself, is mainly in a market that, like in the insurance industry, where you get maybe the low well and how fast enough. So I would say those are time markets that determines means that you go out there and research. If I am buying land, I remember I'd give an example of how my mom bought land. My mom initially from Central moved to Western, and one thing she believed in was that you need just to have on your own. So she walked around. She walked around a village, met one old man who told him, "I have this a quarter. I'm willing to subdivide and give you." She met the chief and the around people. They had agreements on a paper. Up to today, their agreement was signed on an exercise book paper. Sile for the small one, but they had an agreement. Nimeona hii shamba nimependa, nakatiwa hii kiasi, nitolewe kwa title ya mzee mwenye alituziwa anaitwa Alasa, and then hii itakuwa kwangu, and she bought. Now, those days, people were much easy. And it was easy to give your money and just trust. But people were still cautious. Wazee wangekuja, waseme tuliona huyu dada na tukamkubali na akanunua. And then there were families that had fair running. I'd still say someone like my father also, by the time he passed on, had inherited land. That means their forefathers had land that they had been passed through generations. That is ancestral land. And for them, it was not more of an investment. It was something they just found and they just went on with. In the current generation where we live in a place where we are not able to subdivide Kenya to a certain extent. And the best you can do is get something, something that you can hold to, something that you can use. And you'd ask me, why real estate today? Real estate gives you security. If you deal with the right people and you follow the right procedure, you'll always have security. You go get land, you are not willing to maybe construct in a while because maybe you bought land for speculation. When it comes to now development and the real estate, when it comes to land, you can always buy land for speculation. That means I am buying this land, then I will maybe sell it when the area develops and the prices go high. You can flip. Flipping means this area is fast developing. Speculation means you're buying somewhere that the development may take years. You're speaking 5 to 10. Flipping means where I'm buying land, I do not wish to settle there. But the development in that area is so fast that I know in the next 1-2 years, I am able to resell this land at a higher value. Then when you speak about now settlement, you're just able to buy land and you're able to settle. Most of us are in a place where we just want to buy land and settle, and that is where I will dwell today. Today, if you went, and I'll give you an example of one of our projects, maybe your budget for a home is 3 million. You went at Peak Victory Gardens, and you went to view Victory Gardens. Maybe all you have right now is that 2.5, let me say 2.5 everything. So you went and bought the land. You will get a document that is the title deed. The title deed becomes your second security. On top of having land, you have something else that is an asset that you can use. You have the title deed. You can go to one of your best financiers and you can always tell them, I'd want to get a loan, a mortgage for a construction mortgage, and this title deed will be my security. The bank will always go, or your circle, do a valuation and tell you, maybe your land is valued at 2.5 or 2.3. Can you be able to choose a developer, pay him like 30%, then we shall finance the following amount in this criteria. It means you got land and you got another asset that will enable you own a home. We also live in a place where people have built homes for you, still in the real estate, that you can say, instead of in the current affairs, we have something called rent to own. Rent to own means I can get, maybe some had built some beautiful homes. I go work with my mortgage provider. We have good products out there. We have a product like 105 settlement. That means on your first home, there are banks that are willing to finance you 105%. That I would go to what Sam has built and take a loan, a mortgage that is going to last up to 30 years. That means for those 30 years, I move to my house and I just pay what I'll have paid in rent for that period. And you never know, with faith and trust in God, He can open doors. You don't need to finish the 30 years paying for that particular kind of mortgage. When you're speaking about why invest in real estate, right now we have something called Airbnb. You buy an apartment, maybe very affordable, and give you a best bet when it comes to at the river and its surrounding. A lot of tourism and people are coming back home. You place this house or this property you have on those particular channels. People would come, instead of going to hotels, they would pick your home. Per night, Fair Market, Nairobi, you're speaking about 4,000 in the list. So 4,000 is not even for the stay. Maybe 4,000 is per night. Per night, you do not have the hotel. You do not, most of the time, you may, depending with what you choose, you may not have the burden of cooking for your guests. When they choose, maybe they'll cater for themselves or they do something for themselves. At the end, you bought an apartment and it gives you extra money. So when it comes to real estate, whether it's land, whether it's a residential home, whether it's a mortgage that is spread over time, it just gives you the confidence that you have, one, ownership, two, you have appreciation, and three, you have returns. So those three will always be guaranteed when it comes to real estate. A lot of other investments may guarantee you return or may give you return, but they may never guarantee you appreciation. So return will be there. You invested 100,000. I'm giving you this profit. Do not expect anything more. But real estate can flip you over and give you more than even you imagine. Let us pick an example maybe of even a farmer. A farmer has both good and bad season. This season, they may do onions and get a lot. and the other time they may go into a big loss. But one thing is sure is that whatever they invested usually comes back. Real estate is the only investment that gives you the three at one go. Yes.
Okay, so probably my next question would be, and if you can answer this in like 30 seconds to 45 seconds or a minute at most, what are the dangers to watch out for as you seek to invest in real estate?
The dangers, I'd say one, do your due diligence when it comes to property ownership, whether it's a home or land. We have a lot of brokers out there. Their work is just to get money. So what you'd do is anytime you'd want to buy a home or land, you do a search in the registry, but the best search is walk in the environment and ask, Stanley wants to sell me this land. Who does this land belong to? And the people within will always tell you, hii shamba imekuwa na kesi kwa koti miaka 10. Two, check the ownership of that land. The person selling you, is that the owner? Is that a third person? And how would you want to go around it? Is it a company? If it's a company, is the land documented under the company? If not, always seek to know what are the dangers if I invest in land that is not documented in this company and in case this company collapses. Three, always ask yourself, when it comes to even people selling me, how people or a company, how long have they been doing this? And then take the testimonials of other people who have bought from these people before. Remember, real estate is an investment of trust, and trust determines if you get anything that is legit or anything that can really spoil your whatever you're planning to put into a property.
Thank you. So quickly again, what factors do you think I should consider when choosing an investment opportunity in real estate?
An investment opportunity in real estate, the first thing is what is your intention? Are you buying land for speculation? That means I'm buying this land, but I do not, I have some extra money, or I'm looking for cheap land, but I want it to grow maybe in the next 10 years. Am I buying land for the flip market, means which means it's more of what would do when it comes to even forex trading, is that I am buying land at a low value, but I'd want to sell it at a lesser value within shorter periods of time. Remember, speculation means I may buy anywhere, but flip means that I'm picking a place of value at low values, but I'd want it to sell it later at a higher value. Then always ask yourself, am I buying it for development? Which means if I'm buying it for development, which kind of development? Am I doing now the residential, the commercial, or the industrial? So that one will always guide you what type of land you're buying, what area are you buying, and what finances to put in place when it comes to buying.
Great. Then what are some of the ways, I know you've mentioned these a bit in passing, but what are some of the ways in which we can invest in real estate? You know, what are the avenues?
Avenues that you can invest when it comes to real estate. The first thing is that you may decide to be a purchaser. That means I will buy land and wait for it to speculate. That means I have ownership and I will be able just to use the documentation maybe to get finances for other purposes. Two, you may decide to be a developer. A developer means that I will buy land, develop, get my proceeds, and move to the next project. Three, you may decide to invest in land when it comes to property management and leasing. That means when I do not own any property, but I will come to Becky who wants maybe a house or an area, and I'll be able to just manage it. And on top of just managing whatever maybe Becky has, I will be able to get my returns. I may decide to offer professional services. Professional services would go into interior decor, they will go into survey, they would go into lawyers, accountant, and just general contractor, construction workers. Those are just general services that people can be able to offer in the real estate. So you can always ask yourself, maybe I don't want to buy land, I don't want to be a developer, but I'm an interior decor. So I can partner with any person who maybe, for example, is in charge of leasing houses, and I ask this person, can you be able to give me your clients? I do interior decor for them. Or as you lease, these are my contacts. Give these people, these are my work. You can also view my work. I can speak about it. So those are ways you can be able to just invest in the real estate. Most of the time, it's not about land, it's not about the building, it's also what you can offer. Look at the most successful people today, the people who do quantity surveys, the architects, the interior decor people. They're also high-flying people who offer professional services in the real estate industry. Yeah.
Just one question around the same area of investment. There's something called real estate investment trusts. How are those looking like in the Kenyan market, just in 1 or 2 minutes at most?
The real estate
Investment
trust,
trusts.
not, yes, not yet big in Kenya as a market, because still we are in the market where I would say we're more of residential than moving more to commercial. But even if you check the commercial aspect of real estate in Kenya, you'll also get to see a lot of foreign hand that is in it. There was a building that is coming up in the upper hill, I think. But they were speaking about, for them, they are also working now with the trust, but now for them, you'll get their foreign investors who have found a venue that they can be able to come, invest, and be able to redistribute their wealth. Kenyans, we still very traditional. Traditional means some would want something for more of himself. And you'll get this affects also more of our retail, our retail sector affects more of our operation, because I'd want us, for example, I'll pick an example of a supermarket, but I do not want to sell the shares. I do not want to sign an IPO, because I feel if I took this out there, it reduces me as identity. As a nation, I still feel we are in the area where we are still in the age where I feel I need to build a name for myself first before I can populate what I have out there. So I would say that is more, when it comes to trust, it's still some place I'm researching, but that explains somehow what I tend to have an idea of, but it's some place I would want to research more and maybe have a discussion on it much later.
I hear you, yeah, because I think it's important that we begin to have a conversation around that. Maybe that is an opportunity that is out there, which, if we understand well, we can actually leverage on it and be among the first people who do it right in Kenya, in East Africa, in Africa, and all that. So my final question for you has to do with Optiven. What opportunities are there for people to invest in at Optiven, and why should someone choose Optiven? I want to give you 2 minutes max to answer that, so that we allow people to ask questions for a few minutes and then we wrap it up.
So Optiven is a real estate company. Our major section is in, I would say, in the development. We have land that has been subdivided and made ready for settlement. We do land for speculation, we do land for development, and we do commercial land. So I'd say maybe land for speculation, or what we call our standard value added plot, is just land that we bought, fence, put beacons, and maybe marked land. So this land is usually one of our most affordable. And remember, affordable is subjective. So what I would call affordable is not affordable to another person, but it's one of the most budget friendly in areas that give you great opportunity.
Yeah.
Project. We do the roads in Maram, and then we just give you an ability to come and construct and settle. Then we have the premier ones. I'm speaking about Amani Ridge, I'm speaking about Victory. We do stone walls, we do cable roads, we do solar street lights, and we just provide everything that you would need. We do water, we do power, not within the area, but inside the project. That today, if you are going to maybe buy the land, you can buy today and construct tomorrow. I'd give an example. One of our standard projects within in the market right now, we have Rafiki Gardens in Machakos County going for $695. You are able to buy, pay in installment up to 6 months interest free. We have Victory as one of our great value added plots in Kitengela, Kajiado County, going for 2.295. You're able to pay for your investment up to a year. You just need to raise an agreed amount when it comes to deposit, and you spread the rest maybe up to 1 year, but you can always sit and discuss. Then we have our most prime project. We have Thika Luxurious, and we have Amani Ridge, the place of peace. Now these ones come with power, water, stone wall around, stone perimeter wall, cable roads, and a provision for a clubhouse. Like for Thika Luxurious, it already has a running clubhouse, a golf course, and things like those. So those ones you buy when you want to settle, and when you choose that I would not want maybe the climate of Kitengela, but I can settle in Kiambu or Thika and be able to do this on myself. So I'd put those as 3 of our major projects on market. We have a beautiful one called Garden of Joy in Machakos County also. We just put up the solar street light last weekend, and we have 3 people constructing. So we're not taking you somewhere, utaanza kujenga peke yako, you already have neighbors. So as Optiven, you are guaranteed that you have a person that will hear you. I'm the customer service personnel. I can see my colleague Lillian Waka here. In case you have any challenges, we are always a call away just to get to know where is your challenge. Is it in the agreements? Is it in the title processing? Is it in our accounts team? So you always have people within you to work with you. And our major strength is customer service. So one thing you are guaranteed is that you have people to work with you throughout your investment journey to ensure that it is comfortable, and it just gives you an ability to settle without much stress and much ease. And one thing about Optiven is that we've been here for around 20 years. So 20 years is a culture of trust, and it's something that you're guaranteed. See, atufungi ofisi leo, kampuni nyingi zimefunga, we are still there. Barclays Plaza, or what we call now Absa Towers, 14th floor, still serving and still just motivating one Kenyan at a time to get settled. Yeah.
Well, thank you. So you can always catch Optiven at Absa Towers, and definitely just one thing you need to do, maybe you should give us your contact so that if somebody wants to follow up and ask a question, they can always do that. And then now we'll allow 1 or 2 quick questions before we wrap it up. So just your contact information.
So my name is Christine Kasaya. My phone number is 0717-303-844. So as people are facing the 844 system, my number will be there to remind you. So 0717-303-844 is my number. Just call today. I'll be here to respond to any question pertaining the real estate industry, and also just to work with you to a place you're comfortable investing or even venturing, either as a professional or as a homeowner. Yeah.
Great. So if there is somebody who has a very burning question, please unmute your mic and ask. So we allow her to respond and we wrap it up. I have about 4 minutes to end this. Yeah, is there?
Good evening, madam.
Go ahead.
I was asking if one can buy a plot, and since some plots in Nairobi have rates and some of the people have not cleared the rates, will the rates be forwarded to the new buyers? Suppose I'm buying that plot, will I be getting the plot and pay the rates that were accruing over the years? And the second question is, I've always had people that they are living in Kenya and they have done investments abroad, they are indulging in real estate abroad. What is the process of acquiring land outside the country and investing there, and also about the taxes. Do you pay the taxes? How do you pay the taxes while you are in Kenya and you are investing maybe somewhere in Australia or Uganda? And that question is, what's the price of a plot in Amadi
We
Ridge?
don't have time for that many questions. Please, let's.
Okay.
Those are 3 questions.
You can always ask others in person now. Let her respond.
Okay,
Okay, thank you.
So that we wrap this up here.
Okay, I'll try my best to answer. When it comes to rates, we have 2 types of lands when it comes to Kenya. We have leasehold and we have freehold. Leasehold means that you have an annual payment of the leases to the government. I'm speaking about land in Mlolongo, Syokimau, Katani. There are leases there. If you're purchasing there, always get to know, is this freehold or lease? A bigger place of Kitengela is freehold. A lot of land in Kajiado, where we are, is freehold. Freehold means at the time of transfer, there's 4% that you'll pay as part of your title processing. That means you clear your tax upfront when it comes to transfer. So freehold will not have a lot of tax implication. Leasehold will have an annual tax implication when it comes to your taxes. So what you do at the point of purchase, you can always get to ask the owner, are there taxes that have not been settled? So it's up to you and the owner to decide. If I am buying, I either need to clear this or my person needs to clear this before I complete. Now that is where I was saying that due diligence is very important, so that you don't buy land and you are slapped with maybe a big bill that these taxes have not been paid for 3 years. When you speak about price of Amani Ridge, right now we're working with plots between 6.6 going up, 6.6 rare, but I would say around 7 million you'd get a good plot between 90 by 100. We had the 8s, but they're pretty much exhausted. But it's a beautiful place you can come view. And you never know, you are able also to pick a place and be a homeowner. Outside the country, Kenya is pretty much open to people who would want to invest in leasehold countries, leasehold property, but for the freehold, no investor can invest in Kenya. Dubai has an open market for beach homes, apartments, with the tax implications, and governments have these different tax implications. And so when you decide to invest in a different country, you need to know what governs real estate in that country. But I'd say Dubai is one of the hottest area at the moment, where you can invest in the apartments, in their beach homes, and then put them up in the market as Airbnb